Okay, everybody, welcome back to Hearthmind Challenge Series number 31. We're about to bring you guys the grand finals, because we did just have our third and fourth place final, where Master Final took the third place spot over Kansoku. So in our grand final, we're going to have Chicken, who is a previous top 4 finisher in our Hearthmind tournaments, against Prunus. Chicken today is bringing Rogue, Warlock, and Mage against Prunus's Warlock, Priest, and Rogue. So they both do have the Rogue and Warlock. It's just going to be the Priest and Mage as the two variants in there. Though we don't, at this time, we don't know exactly what variety of Warlock each one of them has. So what do you guys think about the opening matchups on this one?
I think it's interesting that one of them chose not to bring the obvious class of Mage, and I'm really excited to see what the Priest is, because Priest is not the most famous class right now for sure. I don't think I've seen it at all yet.
I think Priest is strong in this meta right now, though, I have to say. Aside from its Warlock matchup. So I could see him opening with the Priest, but if I had to go with like the safe bet, I think we're probably going to see Rogue first, and probably Mage on Chicken's side, would just be my guess.
Priest might be a counter pick.
Well, we really won't know until we know what flavor Warlocks those are and what flavor Mage Chicken has, because a lot depends on that.
Warlock is something you can build around.
The thing that I'm really interested to see is Prunus is a newcomer in our series, but let's take a look at his road to the final, because it has to be like the hardest road to have here. He started off with a free win. Okay, cool. Then he had the Mad Hatter, previous top 4 winner. Mm-hmm. Then he had GCT Turth, who is an ESL legend player and a very good Hearthmind player, multiple time top 4 finisher.
Mine.
Then Gold Dragon, who's a very good player. Then No, who was a rank 1 legend last season, didn't finish rank 1, but was rank 1 NA at some point, and won the last tournament series. Then beat Tensoku, who we just saw in our previous cast, and now is up to the final. So his road to the final is amazing.
Yes,
and he's the one playing Mage or Priest in his lineup?
Priest.
And he's the one that brought Priest.
Awesome. Can't wait to see that.
Yeah, so this should be exciting. Are they ready to get started?
Yes, they're going to start right now.
Awesome. So I can't wait to see this Priest, because like I said, I think Priest is definitely underused right now in the meta. That it has a spot. It just, everybody's caught up on the bandwagon of the Mech Mage, the Oil Rogue, and to a lesser extent Paladin. That was a little bit of last month's flavor, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are still riding that, and Priest is kind of forgotten right now, so...
Well, when you think about it, Control Priest is a very good counter to all of those decks that you just mentioned. Especially the Mech Mage.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, they're getting in game right now, so we'll see what their picks are.
Okay.
And picks are very important in this format, but I'm glad to see they're not as crucial as they were in the last Hero Standing. Because the last Hero Standing, that first game pretty much could decide a series, especially in the best of 3, which is not the case in this format.
So we are going to get to see the Priest first here.
And it's golden. I'm loving this. I bet it's OTK.
Well, I'm not expecting to see Inner Fire in this deck, to be honest.
I don't know. There's all those low attack, high health creatures there. It could work.
And we see the typical Priest turn too, though there is no face heal with the light shall burn you.
Yeah.
I was kind of disappointed by that one.
Yeah, that's not very typical. I would think if you play Priest, you would always go for the heal your opponent play. I guess some Priests are different.
Okay, so the Mech Mage has a pretty good start. I mean, do you like the Clockwork Gnome here?
Yeah. I think you're gonna trade away your Cogmaster this turn, which is why you're doing it.
Yeah, because that way you're denying the death rattle off
Yep.
the cultist from buffing anything. It
Which
makes
is why
sense.
Prunus went for it. There's no way to play around him having to kill it, because if he drops anything that the opponent would want to kill, then all of a sudden it's not really possible to do it, because there's also the Dark Cultist. It's just too much.
Yeah, and the mirror entity is still going to get value in the later turns against priest.
Yeah, it should. You may actually try to snipe it to be on valuable turns like turn 6, which every priest plays Sylvanas. So you might want to try to get it on a turn 6.
And that was a great blast mage right there, by the way, that he was able to eliminate the Alchemy while also developing the secret for himself. That was
yeah.
really about the best way he could have wanted that to play out for him.
And Prunus really has no way to play around the secret. You know what the secret is. I mean, it's really not much of a secret in a mech mage. But what do? All his minions are very valuable. I think the Ancient Blade Master is the best choice, but it's still not a great one.
Mm-hmm. I think you go for it, and you're definitely planning to Arcanine Circle next turn. So you're going for it, and then you're just going to heal it yourself. And the opponent now has something that dies to Arcanine Circle combo.
That's
And
true.
hopefully
You just gave him 4 damage.
Right, but your priest, hopefully you're expecting to not care about that because you'll stabilize eventually.
Yeah, it was the correct play, no doubt. It's just
Yep.
it still didn't feel good giving your opponent a 4-3.
That's the nature of playing against Mech Mage, though.
Like when you play against Druid, it's pretty much standard right now. You see that secret, you play Keeper, and you just give him a 2-4, you know?
Yeah.
He really didn't have any good option here.
Probably Arcanine Circle. That's too much damage to take for another turn.
Oh, you have to get rid of that. That's definitely the play.
Hero Power after to clear out the damaged golem. Sad that you can't Hero Power before to gain a little health.
Or you have to make the board completely clear. And that gets rid of the mech, so you're not going to be worried about another Blast Mage coming in.
So, do you think this is the version with Blingtron? Because it plays water.
It does have the water elemental, so it could be Reynad's list. That would be interesting.
I think it is. I don't think Water Elemental is a desirable card in Mech Mage unless you're playing Blingtron. I think Blingtron is that card choice that kind of puts it over the top.
And that mirror energy here is going to hurt again, because same deal. What do you want to give your opponent?
Right.
Sludge Belcher or Sylvanas?
Zombie Chow, top deck. Oh, Cabal, that's not exactly the best, but he's probably going to go for it because it steals Scientist.
But
Which
at
is
this
bad.
point, he's seen this is the second mirror entity, and that tends to be the only 2 secrets that the Mech Mage would be running normally.
Well, would you rather give them a Belcher?
Oh no, but
You would rather steal the 2/2 and give them
Oh, absolutely. But
So-
all it is at this point is a 2-2.
Yeah,
We'll see any
unless
other
it's secretly a super secret mage that has a lot of super secrets. That's kind of a tongue twister.
super
Well-
secret.
Some mech mages do run counterspell, but it's an off chance. I'm not expecting it here, especially since we see the water elementals. You just don't have the room in the deck to include another secret.
Mm-hmm. Lotheb kind of hurts.
Yeah, he's really putting a lot of pressure on right now.
This would have been a great Holy Fire turn.
Well, right now you have to taunt up,
Right.
which even that I'm not sure if it's going to save you.
And then you probably kill the Cabal using your Scientist and your own Cabal. And then I guess you throw down the Belcher and heal yourself or heal your Cabal, whichever you prefer. Probably yourself.
I'd say yourself, because your Cabal is not surviving that anyways. And
Right. He's just going to do a slightly different trade.
Yeah, it looks like he's gonna.
I actually disagree because now your Cabal is frozen for your next turn as well. And the 4-5 trades better into the 3-5 than the Chugger does. Yeah, I still think Cabal being frozen is pretty huge.
I agree with you, Alex. Here, I don't think it's a big difference, but I agree. I liked your play better.
So definitely Holy Fire and then Holy Smite Lotheb.
You have to. You need to get that health back.
And then you just have to heal yourself and I guess hit the face with the Scientist.
Because why not?
Right.
Now he could eliminate the water elemental if he were to holy fire that plus the Scientist.
I think he just cares about getting rid of the one that has 1 more damage
Yeah, at this point his
for HP.
and also he can take into consideration too that his opponent is sitting on 1 card, which is the spare part.
And leaving Water Elemental alive is actually good because looking way into the future of this game, 3 turns or so down the road, he wants to steal Water Elemental with Sylvanas.
That is a good point to take into consideration.
He's probably going to Vol'jin the Water Elemental that just came out and Lotheb. Holy Smite makes sense also, but not playing Lotheb seems kind of weird this turn because it's a 5/5 that you missed out on.
I would agree with that though, because the 2 water elementals could have eliminated Vol'jin,
True.
and he knows his opponent is light on cards at this point.
It's so big, especially in tournament play, to track how many spare parts your opponent has. And it's
Yeah.
quite hard against a mech mage that just keeps cycling through them.
It's interesting how we've been casting this entire game with the Priest as the protagonist. I guess it's because the Priest every turn has had the tougher turn, and the Mech Mage has had turns that kind of work out better. It's been interesting how we just kind of switched over to what can Prunus do.
Yeah, because I mean you're looking at it from the aspect of where the mech mage is kind of straightforward versus, at least in this matchup, it's straightforward.
Yeah.
The way it played out to where the priest has to deal with what Chicken is playing out with his mech mage.
So basically, Chicken is saying, you're not going to heal up fast enough for me to have chances to draw fireballs.
Pretty much. And I agree with it. He's
Yeah.
at 30 health. He's not in danger of dying.
It's a 1 in 7, and then the odds keep increasing every turn. And if you have any amount of card draw, then that makes it better. Also, if you're playing Blingtron, then that's some burst damage, and then you have Frostbolts. You should outpace the Priest. But we'll see what the Thought Seal can pull out for one thing.
I don't think he can pull out anything that would make him survive.
Got a Fireball, so the Fireball can go to the face, and then he can heal himself and play Cogmaster.
I think that's absolutely the play to make there, because that eliminates the 2/3/3s.
Literally just 4 mana for 1 damage to 2 different things. Oh, really?
I guess he figured he wasn't coming back from it.
Really? I think he had a total chance to win that.
Yeah, I would agree. I would have kept going with it.
Because 1 more turn of healing and you're out of Fireball range, so that they only have 2 turns to
Okay,
get a
this
Fireball.
might be a spectator mode bug because on my screen, he didn't have the Wild Pyro anymore.
Huh. Are they
Which-
still in
which
game?
made-
Is it over?
The Fireball play not kill the 2/3/3s, which is why he conceded. On my screen, it was unwinnable.
Interesting, because on both of ours, I assume on yours too, because your reaction was the same. There were 3 1s, and he had the mana to play the Fireball.
That is correct, but the Wild Pyro was already dead on my screen.
Oh, I may have just not paid attention to that. It may have been also. I just assumed it was alive.
Yeah, which in that case, he had zero chance of winning it.
Okay, and they are getting back into their game straight away here, so we're gonna jump right back into it.
So Prunus decided to switch, even though he didn't have to.
Yeah, so it looks like he put the priest on the back burner. And it's going to be a warlock mirror match here.
They look quite similar.
Yeah, both of them look like pretty standard handlock lists from what we're seeing here.
However, I think all the cards in Chicken's hand are also from the new Warlock that emerged, Synergy Warlock, or whatever it's called.
I have not actually seen that list yet, I don't think.
It basically is Handlock that plays legendaries instead of giants and drakes, but he did draw drakes, so it's most likely not that. Basically, you play like Sneed's Old Shredder and a few demon cards instead of the giants.
Ah, okay, so it
You
just...
have a little more early game also.
Yeah, you have a little bit... So it's more... I'm trying to think what
Well,
to
the idea
compare it
behind
to.
it is that since the meta is so fast right now, you don't usually play the Mountain Giant turn 4 anyways, or the Drake turn 4 anyways.
Right.
So they replace the Giants with other late game they're going to play later in the game anyways, and it's actually better than Giants.
Yeah, that don't...
They can actually play something before turn 4 also.
Yeah, they got rid of the cards that really hinge on doing nothing but drawing cards for your first couple of turns.
I'm excited to see the end of this game because handlock mirror matches at the end of the game are quite complex and there's lots of levels to it.
Well, if Chicken wins this, it kind of actually hinders him because he'll have to go to his rogue, and if he loses this, his handlock is very good against the priest.
Yeah. Well, there is double BGH in the hand of Chicken. That's quite an advantage.
Well, I mean, you obviously don't want to play to lose a game, but I'm saying the matchup that he chose, if Prunus stayed with the priest, Chicken would be in a way better position.
Yeah. Hellfire or Drake look like the options. I guess you could do nothing, but not really desirable.
I like Hellfire here personally.
I think I agree with that. You want to clear the way for your Dr. Boom. You don't want to get Drake stuck on a board that something else, like a Silence or a Sylvanas, something that kind of removes it, could come out.
I have no time for games.
And there comes the Sylvanas, just
Yeah.
like you said, so... Let's see, what does he have here?
So
None
he could
of...
clear the board and not give his opponent a Drake by Shadow Flaming. Or he could Hellfire, then end up Mortal Coiling his own Drake. That also works. Saving the Shadow Flame and cycling the coil. Definitely better. And chooses to play a Zombie Chow instead of Tap. Which I find actually interesting. I think Tap was more desirable.
Yeah, and now he's facing down a Dr. Boom with just a Zombie Chow on board. I mean, granted, he does have the Siphon Soul in hand.
And a big Game Hunter as well.
Yeah. So he has options to deal with it.
Sylvanas might actually be brought out as a riskier play, one that might go out of control, but it could also win you the game. Looks like he's gonna go conservative. Got the hit. One is all he needed. Very basic turn there.
At this point, though, it's anybody's game. I mean, with handlock, they both have so many things that can swing the health back and forth.
Yeah, they
This
just
could go anybody's way. So
They turbo tap and fatigue each other.
Yeah.
Like, we'll be fatiguing on turn 20 of this game. Lord Jirax's fatigue battles. Those will be fun.
So what do you think the play is here?
It's hard to see because the hand is so small in spectator mode.
Well, he's getting rid of the bombs. Big Game Hunter is kind of obvious here.
It seems like it. I actually don't agree with it, actually. Because Big Game Hunter is 3 mana to clear something on some turn, and Siphon is 6 mana, and there's nothing else you want to spend your mana on this turn, so why not use the more mana so you can have less mana that you have to spend on a later turn?
Yeah, because I mean, aside from that, what really is he going to play here? He could play Watcher, or he could have played a Farseer.
But there's not really a point to it. Like, that's just kind of
Yeah,
spend
it's just
mana as you can.
yeah, it's filler, so to speak.
So I would have liked to see the Siphon, especially because you really don't care about the board presence of the Big Game Hunter right now. It's just going to get cleared.
Well, playing his own Watcher is just playing something that's not going to get died to Shadow Flame,
Yeah.
and is a target for his own Shadow Flame later on.
Whoa.
That's interesting. It's using a Sylvanas just to steal a 1/2
Just to steal a slime and...
in a handlock?
Watcher.
That is interesting. I'm not quite sure I like that play.
So does he believe that this Watcher is so valuable, or the opponent's Watcher is so valuable that he needs to do that? Because I think we can pretty much say that the slime isn't valuable enough for that. It was basically the killing of the 4-1.
Yeah, I can't really see what he was going with that play. That's quite interesting.
I
I
would
haven't seen the
disagree.
Giants yet. You know there's a lot of 8/8 coming out. You would think he wanted to save his Sylvanas.
I would think so. Especially, like, look at this turn. Sylvanas Shadow Flame, and then you have a 50-50 to steal a Giant, whereas you just stole a Slime the turn before. This is leaving his board very, very open to a Shadow Flame by playing stuff but not clearing the opponent's things.
And I think we will see it. I can see a play where
Tap and
he
do
attacks
more
this
Giant.
time with his 3/5, attacks with the Giant, and then Shadow Flames it. Well, guess not.
So he doesn't believe that the 4-5 and the 2-3 are worth a Shadow Flame. He would rather just play a Giant. Which I definitely see the reasoning.
I can see that. He developed a stronger board this way.
Yeah.
And the 4/5 that can attack and a Zombie Chow aren't really that threatening, especially when you're still sitting on a 3/4 taunt.
Right. I think this turn is going to start out with the tap. I don't see how you're going to spend 10 mana this turn. And probably Siphon and Ancient Watcher. Siphon your own Zombie Chow, obviously.
Yeah. Definitely the correct play.
Right.
Okay, so now both sides do have Jiraxis available to them here.
I actually wouldn't be surprised. This looks like the perfect time to play Jiraxis.
Oh, it is. You can put so much pressure from now on.
Yeah, you don't need to tap anymore. You have 7 cards in the deck. Even if tapping looks like a good play, you don't want to do it anymore because you're going to die to fatigue. So Chicken got into his Lord Jiraxis faster, so he's going to have turns of Infernals faster than his opponent is, and that's going to be pretty big.
Yeah, and he does have 2 Taunt Givers in hand as well. So it's not going to be super difficult for him to have to protect his 15 health either, since he can create the Infernals and be able to taunt up as needed.
And he has both heal bots, he has the Earthen Ring, and he has a Siphon Soul, so he has plenty of heal available.
And also, he has quite a bit of pressure on the board. His opponent can't Jiraxis until this board is cleared, so the advantage is just going to snowball out of control now. It's most likely going to have to be a Shadow Flame turn. I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't attack just so that he could stop 3 mana from Molten Giant Shadow Flame plus something else. Looks like 3 mana isn't that important in this turn, though.
Yeah, 'cause he doesn't have another option to fill the leftover mana he would have.
Yeah.
Aside from the Sun Fairy Protector.
And it's getting to that time where Tim is slowly
Tim is yawning.
Yeah. We'll pretend we didn't hear that, right?
Right.
I'm still wide awake and very aware of what's going on, I swear.
Yeah. My caffeine levels are quite high, so I'm still awake.
Yeah, that's where I was for the first series. I was like wide awake, you know. And now it's fading fast, so.
I might have to reload soon. So, is this a turn to tap? Because your play of Molten Giant plus Shadow Flame looks really bad on its own, because you're not actually gaining any board. Interesting, so he's just going to go for taunting instead of clearing, which is a little sketchy, but it's also greedy. And without a little bit of greed, it's going to be tough to win the game, so I could see where he's coming from.
The owl does get through that taunt, though.
Mm-hmm. And Shadow Flame on a sizable minion also gets through everything.
Yeah.
Molten Giant is a dead draw, but I don't think that's too much of an issue at this point.
No, an Infernal is basically a giant, and it's for 2 mana, so you're really not worried about losing Molten Giant value if you can gain Infernal value.
I would not be surprised if he uses face to clear that with the amount of heal he's hitting on.
I would be... Actually, I would be extremely surprised, because the only way he can really lose is from taking too much damage. There's no way he can lose board, really, right now.
The amount of heals he has, though.
Yeah. Well, he
He's
could
not
only
going to get a chance to use all that.
I actually don't like that play of taunting up the Infernal there.
No, I think you should have only taunted the Watcher.
That's what I was going to say as well, to
Knight
make
is-
yourself vulnerable.
Now,
Not that Black Knight's that common at the moment, but it's,
Yeah.
like you said, an unnecessary risk when you're so far ahead at this point.
there's really nothing in hand, so I think this is a turn to tap. That really seems like a play that does nothing. It's a play that stalls, but it's not getting him any closer to actually winning this game. So, I think he should have tapped, but really, what are you looking to tap into also? Not a lot.
Yeah, and Chicken's board is really just snowballing out of control at this point.
He drew
He's
Jiraxis at the right
5
time.
cards. So tapping is quite dangerous because you're getting really close to fatigue.
Yeah, but this game isn't going fatigue if you don't turn it around. You're gonna die way earlier than that.
That's true.
I like Chicken's foresight to know that it was the right time to play Jiraxis on the turn he drew him. Because it's
That
not
won him
really
the game.
straightforward.
That did win him the game.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I like this. He's thinking about doing this and Mortal Coiling. I kind of like hitting it with face and then healing up with the Farseer.
I agree with your play. No, he's just going for trading with the slime. Basically maximum safety. There's no way he can lose, is where he's coming from. Yep, concede.
Yeah, and Prunus sees that as well. Okay, so let's see. That goes to Chicken, so
Chicken is on his final deck.
yeah, we're gonna see his rogue next. And so what do you think we're gonna see as Prunus's counterpick to the rogue, because essentially he knows that's what he'll be facing, so he has the option to counterpick here.
I would not be surprised to see a rogue mirror match, because the other option doesn't look good to me. Warlock does seem like it would be good, but also you want to actually play to win the series, and Rogue seems like a deck that could take it multiple times.
Well, we can't.
You can't? You have to... Oh, right, because you switch everything. So...
Unfortunately, it's still not quite familiar with the format.
Right.
At this point, he has to win with all three of his decks. Now,
That's
you
true.
don't want to bring your best deck because of the psychological factor. You want to put your opponent on a losing streak, kind of gain that momentum again. But he has to win with all three of his decks to take the series.
That Priest doesn't seem like it's a matchup that's going to be nice.
Yeah, so he did go with the Warlock here. They're actually into it now.
Well, all three of those decks have a chance against the Rogue.
The Rogue has 3 chances.
But exactly, the Rogue has 3 chances to take this.
Yeah, so I think he's going to end up stealing one out of them, but, you know, we could be surprised here.
So do you guys think I'm going to understand this format next time?
I would hope so. We're going to have to give you homework, have you study on it.
Oh, I already have enough homework. Maybe I should study on it so I can win.
There you go. It looks like the match could kind of go either way at this point, I think.
This is Azure Drake Prep Eviscerate in my eyes. The tempo that you get from it, and you're really not too afraid of using your preps.
And the tempo huge is swing. I agree with Alex, and it looks like Chicken agrees as well.
Yep.
And you're not really worried about getting into a top deck situation with having both another Azure Drake and Sprint in hand.
Yeah, Chicken has plenty of plays available in the turns coming up.
It's Dr. Boom next turn.
Yeah, I was going to say he's coming into Boom as well.
Oh, not next turn.
Yeah, Boom's 2 turns off still. We'll
Prep
probably...
Boom. Oh, he drew the prep. Prep Dr. Boom. Always the best play.
The thing with the Warlock here is that the Warlock has a lot of taunts available. And it might be just a little bit too much for Chicken to be able to get through.
If Chicken goes for Farseer here, I think we might see a Shadow Flame. Because you don't want to leave Rogue with minions on board.
Yeah, especially with, like, you're getting into the later turns where it's not going to be difficult for him at all to get the combo out of the Tinker's Oil.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with that play 100%.
With Miracle nowadays, it's not like they OTK you in 1 turn. It's when they have enough damage, they go for it, and they kill you in 2 or sometimes even 3 turns. So it requires a lot of foresight, and even more foresight by the opponent to know when they need to start preventing it. So it's kind of tough to play against it, but it's also tough to play as the Rogue. It's an interesting deck.
And it's not like you can do all that damage from an empty board. Apart from haha and then playing the oil, there's really nothing you can do from an empty board to have that much burst.
Yeah. And you could draw forever and fatigue yourself, but eventually you have to actually go for it, so it's quite a tough deck to play.
Oh, those backstabs are not really going to be helpful here.
Well, you might backstab your own 1/1s, trade them in for different 1/1s. The value. Double Dark Bomb, not really efficient, but the
It has
rogue
to
is
be
out
done.
of minions, so
It has to be done because the teacher can get out of control very fast. So I do agree with that play.
yep. He did it very quickly, so he was very confident.
Okay, so he does have the oil and the Blade Flurry in hand now.
Oh yes, that's really good against Handlock. You usually want to get your dagger up to enough damage to kill taunted giants. And at that point you're able to go for it, because then the amount of taunt they have doesn't matter. He
I
might
might use his dagger now, though, because you really want to use the oil on a fresh dagger, not something that only has one durability.
Yeah, that's why I actually like what he did there, trading into the Drake to finish it off. Because it protects his board, aside from an AoE clear, and it uses up the last charge on that buff dagger that he already had.
Shadowflame to preserve his super valuable health.
I like that. And
Instead
clearing
of Dr.
minions. Again, same thing that we talked about. You can't leave the rogue with minions on board.
Yep. And he's sticking by that. He has enough mana for Dr. Boom, and Dr. Boom's in hand, so probably we're gonna see Dr. Boom. Yep. Nope.
He's thinking about it. Are we going to see a tap beforehand? That's the question. Or tap after, which...
I think you have enough cards in your hand to win the game. I don't think we're even gonna see a Belcher this turn, because there's 2 Molten Giants. You want to take just a tiny bit more damage.
The thing
You
is,
want that Shredder to hit you.
and a 4-attack minion on board.
Yeah,
He might do more than just a little bit of damage.
So let's
Yeah.
see, he has 7 plus 4 on the dagger, so that's 11. Plus another 4 from the Blade Flurry would be 15. Plus 4. Yeah, he has enough for lethal with the Eviscerate.
Wow. I think that's actually quite surprising.
Not now that he healed up, but
Yeah.
if
And
he
taunt.
if he hadn't healed and taunted there,
Yeah, 17 health against an oil rogue is really not that much, so I really agree with the play here.
You know what's surprising? 2 turns in a row, Dr. Boom could have been played and it wouldn't have been the right play. It's crazy.
Good call by Prunus.
Yeah.
yeah, Dr. Boom is balanced, I swear.
No. No, it's not.
Yeah, he just balanced it, the meta balanced itself out. He's not OP. Definitely not.
Okay.
So
what do you think we're going to see from Chicken here?
A Violet Teacher.
I like
Backstab.
developing the Violet Teacher because it's something that forces Prunus to deal with.
First he's going for Tinker's Oil so that hopefully it goes on the Shredder.
And of course it goes on the 1 health minion.
Yep. Naturally. This is actually a pretty good turn. He can Blade Flurry and clear board. He has a board of his own.
And he has another Blade Flurry in hand, so I do like that.
And there's no clears. Oh, there's
I was going to say,
clears.
we haven't seen Hellfire yet.
And he's got to do it.
Yeah.
Now if we see Millhouse Mana Storm pop out, or that Shredder, it's going to be trouble.
It's gonna be Doomsayer.
Doomsayer was alright for the rogue. Oh, that's a great draw. Well, not like draw, but
You can't go for Molten Giant now. That has to be anti-Killbot. Ouch.
Yeah, and even so, the Healbot dies to the teacher if he chooses to trade that.
I think he's gonna choose to eviscerate it. Now he has a patient assassin just sitting there waiting for him to taunt something.
Yeah, it's almost, at this point, it functions kind of like an extra sap in the way that they use the saps to remove the taunt when they're going for the
Yeah.
lethal.
And Lotheb now stops any fancy Shadow Flame shenanigans.
Though
Dr. Boom!
It really does look like a Dr. Boom turn, because if not now, when? And you'd
And you
rather
need the
lose a
bombs.
7/7 to that than a giant. It's not much better, but it's better.
Right. You need the bombs to hit things that clear the board, because you have no board clears right now.
Okay, so he does use the assassin, and I agree there because the bombs could incidentally hit it if he left it to hang around any longer. So I definitely think that was the time to use it.
Oh, absolutely. And the difference between killing a 7/7 and an 8/8 with it is not that significant from the rogue's perspective.
Ouch. Under the face, not at all what you want, but he did kill the Violet Teacher on the bright side.
Yeah. And we are going to see Jiraxis here.
With double Molten Giant.
Yeah.
He does survive with it.
There is a taunt. So I would actually think he might play the double Molten and taunt it up.
That's so risky, though, with the... Well, we've seen both Eviscerates, right? And both Blade Flurries?
I think the winning play is going for Jiraxis so you can start getting the Infernals right away. Because you
double
actually
Molten,
need to kill him.
if you double Molten and Argus, you're threatening lethal next turn.
That is true.
Yeah, that is true.
And the rogue has no cards. And we've seen both Blade Flurries, and I remember one Eviscerate, but it might have been two already.
I believe we've seen both of them come out.
You're threatening lethal the other way with Lord Jiraxis even better, because you're not going to die, but you are also dealing 3 and then you have 3 the next turn. Unless I'm totally wrong about that.
I personally like this play a lot better. Of course, there's the sap.
So he's probably just going to end up doing the same play with Lord Jiraxis the turn after.
Which, I mean, this is good, because it pretty much clears the opponent's board.
Yep. It looks like a wrap.
And the rogue's top decking right now, so... It does look like Prunus' game.
Lord Jiraxis, so good.
And this is a heal for 12. I mean, you can't ask for better.
Right. Well, you could ask for a heal for 14, but it does the same job.
Yeah, and Chicken does concede there, because being in top decking, I don't really see there having been much of a way for him to come back and deal with the overwhelming board that was coming in the next couple of turns, just from the Infernals alone. Okay, so that means now Prunus' Warlock is out. So the remaining matches we're going to have, it's going to have to be the Rogue again from Chicken. And we're going to see either Priest or a Rogue Mirror match now coming up.
I would go for the mirror match, because the priest... Well, it is a control priest, so I mean, either one is fine, I guess.
It doesn't really matter because you're gonna have to be matched up one way or the other. Like, there's no choice on what you're gonna play it against. It's either the first game or the second game. There's not a lot of thought in that.
Okay, so Prunus did go with the Priest again.
Probably just he's comfortable with it.
Yeah, considering he does have the Golden Priest, so...
He can snowball with it. He can gain a little confidence by winning a long game with a priest.
That's exactly what I was going at. He has to win with both decks anyways, but if he wins with the priest, he gets that momentum and
Right.
the mental aspect of the game.
If he ends up winning a game that goes to the final round and wins by good play, then he'll be favored for the final mirror match.
And the other thing, too, is that since the Priest tends to go for the long game, he's going to see all of Chicken's Rogue deck, probably.
That's a very good point there.
Because, I mean, yes, he saw, I would say, the majority of it last game. I didn't see the actual card count. I would say
But you
probably...
literally see all of it.
Yeah, between the two games, he'll have seen the entirety of the deck.
I like Lotheb there. You don't let the Violet Teacher get value, and then you put something that trades really well with the Violet Teacher on the board.
Yeah, that was definitely put a crimp in the plans of Chicken here.
And then there might be a Vol'jin, just as a body. Maybe Injured Blade Master and heal would be better. Probably would.
I would like the Injured Blade Master.
Leave Vol'jin as a removal. Probably just for Dr. Boom later or something, because there's not a lot of minions for Rogue that you have to clear.
Yeah, I think Dr. Boom was the only real threat that we saw.
So he just wants a bigger body.
Because I don't think he's running... Because some of the versions run trade prints, but we didn't see that in the last game. So I don't think that Chicken has that in this version of his road.
Yeah.
I'm ready to learn.
Trade Prince kind of remodels the deck to be trying to win way later.
Yeah, I have seen it included in some of the versions, though, just to give it, like, that extra, you know, something to shore up the late game
That
in case
extra-
you run out of damage. Because similar to the way, like, if Miracle loses its Leroy, like the old Miracle,
Yeah.
you just don't have the damage to be able to finish the game.
But
Whereas-
Galaxies might do it for you.
Yeah, Gallywix gives you that extra push you may need at the end to finish it off.
Cabal's
Still,
kind of weak
one
here.
with all sounds
Let me
so
change
bad,
your
but
mind.
there's really no better target for it.
Yeah.
Well, there's obviously the Blood Mage, but you can't wait for that one card to show up.
It's the better option than Injured Blade Master heal.
This guy's toast.
The efficient clears on all the priest minions are tough because the priest hasn't drawn a circle yet to clear the rogue's board, so he's just been bashed this whole game. And it's getting to the point where he has to... He literally does have to clear the board this turn.
And I don't really see a way to do it.
Holy Nova and Holy Smite the Azure Drake and pass, I really don't like it. But
That's his only play, though.
yeah. You just have to stall for a turn to try to get circle. And that's the only way you survive. Theoretically survive. You don't actually survive because Deadly Poison, Eviscerate, Blade Flurry. Ouch. Got run over.
Yeah, and that is definitely a blowout to end this.
Yeah. Well, snowballed early. Some games end really fast. We thought this one was going to be long, but the rogue was able to get board control really early.
Well, the priest didn't draw the circle. That was pretty much the story of the game.
Yeah, no clerics either to help out his draw, and no power word shield, so he was kind of put into a hole from the beginning in terms of the cards that he had available to him. But all in all, like, definitely congratulations to Chicken as our champion this week in Challenge Series number 31, and Prunus at second place. Big congrats to him too, because like you were saying earlier, Bullock, the road that he went through to get to that grand final, that speaks volumes in itself of the quality of play he is, even though what we saw there, Chicken took the series 3-1, but Prunus had a great showing tonight.
Oh,
So-
definitely. He went through who's who of our Hearthmind challenges tonight to get to the final, so
Yeah.
definitely looking forward to seeing him again in the following weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope to have him back in the coming weeks. And yeah, it was a lot of interesting matches we had tonight, and you know, we're getting to learn this conquest theory. And I mean, a couple weeks into it now of this being the second one, what do you think of the format still? Are you still liking it as much as you did when we premiered it last week?
Oh, absolutely. And the feedback I'm getting from players is amazing. A lot of players get to test it out for the first time in our tournaments, because not a lot of tournaments run it just yet. And everybody comes up to me and says, "Hey, I love this format. Thank you for running it." I think we should definitely keep it.
I'm starting to understand it, which is good.
Yeah, I think it's an adjustment period to everybody to get to know how it works. Because I mean, I've actually
Because you win, and then you're not allowed to play that deck again. It's like you're not being rewarded for your win. It's quite the opposite, so it's hard to keep track of who won.
yeah, and the fact that the loser can switch decks and decks come back make it a little bit like that. You'll see the deck that lost earlier come back maybe 2 games from now. Can make it a little bit more difficult to follow, but all in all, I think it leads to a more exciting series where you get a little bit more of a back and forth going on.
Yeah.
And it gives you more enjoyable matchups because you're not just seeing counter picks to counter picks to counter picks. Sometimes you'll see pretty much every time you see a match, it's somewhat of a blind pick. Each player chooses from certain decks, so you'll see matchups that are not that common in tournaments, or were not that common before.
Yeah, so I think I would definitely say our consensus here is a big thumbs up to you, Ben Brode, on this format. If you or the esports team, whoever was behind making this switch, I think we definitely approve if you guys are listening. Anything else you guys wanted to add about the matches this week?
OTK,
No, I just like to go ahead, Alex. Sorry.
OTK Priest, someone run it, please.
Okay, there we have it. OTK Priest for the win. So, did you guys have anybody that you wanted to shout out? Anything to advertise, plug, anything of that nature?
I would like to remind everybody that Hearthmind is currently running our social media giveaways. So follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube. There's giveaways every week in February. So follow us and hopefully you win.
Yeah, and on that note, let me see here. I was going to give congratulations to our last week's winner. I don't want to butcher his name though. I believe it was Call427. I just want to make sure I have that right to give him a shout out because he is one of our subscribers on YouTube. So hopefully he will be watching this VOD. I know he did receive his prize. He said he was really happy with that. But I just want to give him that shout out too. So.
And as always, we hope to see you guys next week. We had a lot of fun casting these series. Hopefully you enjoy them from now on, following these out also.
Absolutely. It's Call726. COL726. So awesome. Thank you for your support, and hopefully you enjoy that $20 Battle.net gift card. Hopefully you pulled some legendaries out of there. Next time I see you around, I'll have to hit you up, ask you what you pulled from it.
Golden Millhouse.
You can't get better than that, right?
Right.
And for anyone that's looking for constructed or arena coaching or deck building, Alex offers all of those. You can sign up for that through the appointments app on Hearthmind.net, and also all of the social media to follow us that Bullock was just speaking of to get automatically entered into the contests in the coming weeks. All of that is also available at Hearthmind.net. We have the social media icons at the top of the page, and also in our featured posts there's one detailing the giveaways, and that has the links to the different social media outlets as well. Anything else you guys wanted to add?
Just to touch up on the coaching, Alex is obviously here with us, but the other member of Team Hearthmind, Flying Whales, also has coaching available. He does not do arena coaching, but all the other ones are available through him as well.
Yeah, so that is definitely there if you're looking for some help with deck building, ladder. I know he's a multi-time legend. I don't know the exact count off the top of my head, and I don't want to slander his name by giving you the wrong number.
It's too many to count.
Yeah, and he was number 9 on the NA ladder in December of 2014, just this past year. So he's definitely a top tier player if you guys are interested in booking coaching with him as well.
Or if you just want to see some flying whales, then go over there.
All right. Anything else, guys?
Nope, that's it.
All right, thanks a
That's
lot.
it. See you guys next week.
All right, take care, guys.